Helped start the community center when I was 7 years old, so that was 53 years ago. She is here with us today, and I think a standing ovation for this woman, because between her and her husband, they spent over 50 years dedicating their time to the community center. Now we're going to go to Nancy, the shortest, and we might need to kneel down so you can stand on it. Stand in front, Nancy, so everyone can see you. You're hiding.
All right, we are here together for the 25th anniversary of the annual golf tournament as the Manchester Community Center's main fundraiser. This is our biggest fundraiser, so buy more raffle tickets, support us. Join the community center, get involved, and we are also here to honor David Crosby, who started the tournament 25 years ago and was an active board member and president for those years. Sadly, David passed away last June after a long battle with Lewy body dementia. We are presenting Linda, his wife, a donation of $2,000 to fund a longevity bench in honor of David's many civic achievements. As an attorney, he contributed his legal skills in his role as a selectman in Manchester and as founder and the chair of the Manchester Conservation Commission. Both Linda and David have lived in our community for over 50 years and have thrived to make our town by the sea a better place. Linda was involved in creating our community center in the 1970s, from a youth center to a center for all ages to use. In meeting with Linda, I had asked what's important to share about David. David had a passion about rowing. He and his father rowed in the first Head of the Charles Regatta in 1964. David played in the varsity hockey and rowing team at Harvard. David introduced rowing to his son Josh, who would build a career around it. He and Josh were celebrated for their father-son participation in the regatta's 50th anniversary in 2014. We plan on having a dedication ceremony of David's special bench in a few months. Our community center president, Pat Meehan, will be available to play the bagpipes, and those family members and friends that knew and admired David will be invited to honor David's constant kindness and generosity, especially towards the Manchester Community Center. Linda Crosby is our special guest this evening, and she will be sharing some words about David. But lastly, I want to say that we are going to name this golf tournament after David Crosby tonight. Wow.
After so many years helping David, with whatever task he would assign to me, and I find friends to help me. I cannot tell you how much it means to my family, my two children who don't live here, so they can't be here tonight, but fortunately we have somebody taping this so they know. And they will be back this summer and will enjoy collaborating with all of you about it. We're so happy about the bench, I can't even tell you they were shocked. I trust that he will be looking down upon us as time goes on and as the bench unfolds, and it will be with great happiness and appreciation.
Our history with the community center goes back a long way. Can you hear me? Yeah. To the mid-1970s, when somebody named Augustus Means owned a property that was it faced on Beach Street, and the entrance was where Harbor's Point Condo Association now begins. And he decided to donate it
to become a youth center and put it in the position where it is now. But it was an older building that really needed work, it was small. And so at the time, on the board with, I was one of the original members in 1976, and on the board with me was a wonderful local architect named Stephen Holt. And he would be here tonight too, but he's no longer with us, but he just completely dedicated himself to rebuilding the center and adding on the front half of it so that it is what it exists, it looks like as it does today. As we proceeded through the years, we came up with all kinds of wonderful activities for the youth of Manchester. But then as time went on, the board decided that a lot of the youth were then starting to do activities after school or on weekends with school and other organizations, and that maybe the center was being underutilized. So we had to decide, are we going to turn the center over to the town for its own purposes? Because the building was owned by the community center, or by the youth center, but the land under it was owned by Arbors Point, or before that by the town. So it was a real critical decision to make, but in 1988, we officially dedicated the Manchester Community Center as it is today. David knew how much the center meant to me over the years, and so when I stepped down from the board eventually, he joined. And I didn't know what he was doing, but you know, he was out deciding how he was gonna raise money for the center, and he loved golf. And he loved the center, so he thought, okay, lots of people will share that with me. And when I talked to Kim Kaner, who's the director of the center the other day, she said, you have no idea all that David did. He went everywhere getting support for this. He even went to the shopping centers and would get raffle items. So he just loved it, and up until the point where he was just too ill to come, he stayed involved for all those years. I really wish he were here to join us tonight, but his legacy lives on in so many ways, and so much thanks to you and this idea of dedicating the bench. I so appreciate it, and thank you, thank you.